there, my name is Abigail Nelson. I am the owner of Panther City Media, LLC in Fort Worth, Texas. And today I'm going to be sharing a little bit of a behind the scenes role of the producer, what that looks like for me, what that might look like for you, and also giving a little bit of a behind the scenes of a small business owner and the person who wears many hats. With the role of producer, you know, it's so much. I'm actually gonna Google right now. What is the role of a film producer? So according to masterclass.com, the responsibilities of a film producer is the person for finding and launching a project, arranging financing, hiring writers, a director, and key members of the creative team, and overseeing all elements of pre-production, production, and post-production, right up to the release. So a producer is someone who is in every single detail from start to finish. And that absolutely sums it up perfectly. So being a producer and being a small business owner, I have a lot more hats than just the producer. I'm also the one editing most of this production that I'll be filming, and I'm the one who got the lead, who sent the bid and the contract. So there's a lot that my hands have been in throughout this entire production. So tomorrow we will be filming at a studio here in Fort Worth, and when I say we, I mean myself and my hired contractors. So I have a DP, which is director of photography. I have a gaffer, who's the lighting guy, because Lord knows I don't want to do math, which lighting technicians often have to do. We have an audio engineer, and we have a teleprompter operator.
What if
we have hair and makeup, we have the studio manager, and then we have the client. And we also have some behind the scenes set photographers and videographers there tomorrow. So all around about 20 people total, including myself. So that's a lot of responsibility as a producer. I'm also playing the role as director. So I am the one setting up the shot, telling my DP, hey, the client is conscious of this. They have specifically asked for these angles not to be here. Specific coloring, if depending on the studio you're doing. I'm also in charge of set design. So there's just a lot of elements that people look to me for direction. And hiring hands to help is so worth it. Taking a little bit less off from the overall project income to hire on people who are actually specialized in that field, honestly, it just takes off the pressure from me and lets me focus on the little details that truly do rely on me, and the overall success of the production are on those small details. And so if things go untouched or unnoticed, big mistakes can happen. So with all of that being said, one thing that I have recently started to do with each production I do is a production guide. All thanks to a contractor I met in Florida who did a great job and had great organizational skills that I applaud. So I kind of took a formula similar to theirs, and I basically create an entire production guide, which is for me, it's a Google spreadsheet, but it's master schedule, it's the talent scripts, it's the crew list, it's the food orders, it's the equipment packing list, it's everything that a call sheet wants to be, but over across 8 to 9 sheets plus. And this is for a production that's around $30,000. So if you have, you know, short film or narrative films, I could absolutely see a production guide going within so many spreadsheets. One thing that could also be compared to this is Movie Magic budgeting and scheduling. That is a program that you can purchase and use. I do have them, but they're a little bit outdated. I don't think I have the most recent version. So Google Spreadsheets is great because it's free and people can see real-time edits, real-time comments, and it's really just easy. You don't have to keep downloading PDFs and deleting old versions. It's frankly fantastic. So I use Google Spreadsheets, and I will show you a little bit about what my screen looks like. Okay, so on this production guide, I have the project overview, and this is where the call times, the wrap times, the address, the urgent care, your PA contact, who the producer is, and basically the scope of work for the day or days or however long you're doing this. This is really just the most crucial information. If people have questions or they don't know what time they're to be there, this is the first sheet It is right in front of your face, and I've even made the call time in bright red. Just look here, like here's your answer. So this one is the master schedule. This basically states the call time again, and then it goes through each scene. So with us, we have scripted scenes, so it's really easy to lay that all out. Also, I apologize for any noise. My husband's in the kitchen. So for us, we have a couple testimonials we're gonna be filming, which you can see here. We have hair and makeup going on. Typically that takes about an hour and a half per subject for us. And then we have the lunch listed and lunch end. And then we have all remainder of scripted segments listed. And then we have wrap and dinner listed. So master schedule, this is great to print individual copies for. Not everyone needs a whole production guide packet. I would say the client needs it, your producer needs it, if you have a director, if you're not producing and directing. So here we have our talent schedule. So this is basically the sheet that I will be looking at and writing on while we're filming. So I'll put in things like the scene number, who's our talent, if it's part of a curriculum or series or social media ad, you could basically put what that pertains to. And then I have the script name, number of takes. I think this is always super helpful for your editor. Obviously they have a slate, but it's great to just see it on paper and be like, oh, it's not gonna be the first take, it's gonna be the 5th one. And then any notes if anything happened or if there were any distractions or disturbances throughout takes. So next we have our crew list, and this is where you can list every single person who will be expected to be on set, who they are with, what company they're part of, aka if you have contractors coming in and they're not part of your production company, or you have people specifically attached to your client. That's important to differentiate for the crew's purposes. And then you have roles, so letting everyone know who is who and who to go to for certain issues, and then their phone number, their emails, and then this is a little production owner columns that I have because I also do the taxes. Have I received a W-9 from them? Producer aspect, COVID-19 release forms, not fun to ask for, but important to have. And then also food orders, have they filled out their menus, selections, and then also payment you could keep track of to make sure everyone gets paid on time and the amounts necessary. So next I have food orders. Basically for this production we have lunch and dinner. So I basically just copy the crew list, put it over here, and I put in each of their orders. So next is talent list. This is really specifically for a hair and makeup artist. This is something I do to try to keep things going, to not have talent sit there and be like, oh, I want pink on my eyeshadow. No, now I want green. You picked 4 weeks ago, we're gonna keep it as is. This is the look you said you liked. And for example, I have pulled these eye looks from Pinterest just to give them 3 simple options. Do you want some natural glam? Do you want some heavier glam? Basically, the talent gets to choose their hair and makeup. These are for the subjects giving their testimonials, so we want them to feel pretty. So next is one of the most crucial pieces for yourself, the producer, and for your crew is the equipment packing list. Basically, this lists up everything that is not part of the studio that is yours that you bring in and you need to go home with. So I have a few camera rentals, I have my own personal production gear, I have little things like extension cords, headphones, XLR cables, stuff like that. And then I also have a grocery list listed here. This is a grocery list specifically requested by the client. So I make sure that I either have a cooler or I'm somehow bringing all those items. I have all the set designs, so we do have a couple of furniture staging rentals for this production. So making sure that we know whose is whose and where it's going to at the end of the day and who's bringing it. And then we have extra. These are just little elements to make an easier going set. Things such as pens and hand sanitizer, printed production guides, things along that nature. And then over here we have charged and packed. So as you could see earlier, I have gone ahead and printed this for myself. This is specifically the packing list. I like to staple it, go through each individual piece and say if it's charged, and then tomorrow when I head to my production, I want to make sure it's packed. And this can also be notes, so if you have anything that maybe is missing or isn't needed anymore, I would just use a highlighter or pen to make that note. And that is the production guide. Pretty cool. So now, as far as the rest of producing goes for the set tomorrow, that's putting everything on a charger, that's packing up the car, and getting a good night's rest for a big day tomorrow. So thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions, feel free to either email me or go to our website, panthercitymedia.com, check out our work. Maybe you'll even see little snippets of the pieces that we're filming tomorrow. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.